So I think we're good, and I'm going to call the meeting to order, and we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. And ladies and gentlemen, if you would all remain standing after the Pledge of Allegiance for a moment of silence in memory of the victims and their families from the Orlando shooting. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hello?
Thank you, everyone. Okay, thank you, Pat. We're back. We're going
Sorry,
to...
that was the phone in the hotel room for some reason.
Okay, no problem. Yvonne Browning, can we do the roll call, please?
Yes, I'll be happy to call the roll for the June 20th, 2016 regular commission meeting. As I call your name, please confirm your attendance. Mayor Cookson,
Here.
Vice Mayor Tropepi. Here. For the record, Commissioner Durrell is not present. Commissioner Gogallen.
Here.
Commissioner O'Hara.
Here,
For the record, she is attending the meeting via teleconference. And also for the record, we do have a quorum present. We also have present our town manager, our town attorney, the town clerk is present, our police chief, and our public works director and staff are also here.
Right. And Roby is recovering from surgery, and he should be back with us soon. So everyone keep him and his family in their prayers, please. Okay, the approval of the meeting agenda. Do we have any additions, substitutions, deletions to the agenda?
I'd like to motion that we accept the minutes as prepared.
The meeting agenda. We'll get to the minutes in a
Sorry.
second. I do that all the time. Agenda.
a second.
Thank you, Pat. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No, thank you. Okay, and now the consent agenda. This is just the approval of the May 16th, 2016 minutes. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, please?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. All in favor say aye.
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 Okay, and passes unanimously. Thank you. Okay, the financial report. We have Terry Morton here from Nolan, Hout and Minor to present the 2014-2015 audit report. Would you care to join us at the podium, please?
Thank you. I am Terry Morton from Nolan, Holt & Minor. I'm a partner with the firm, and I'll just briefly go over the audit report and then go over and open it up for any questions.
Is that microphone on? Yeah, okay.
Can you hear me now?
Thank you.
Okay. The audit was a little bit later than we usually get it done, and the main reason for that was there was a new pension standard that went into effect, and the state was late in getting us the information for that. But other than that, it was a very clean audit, and you should be proud of your staff and the effort they put into it. And just to go over some of the highlights of the audit, page 1 is our audit opinion, and as in prior years, it is a clean opinion, meaning it's fairly stated in accordance with generally accepted accounting standards. And on the second page of the opinion, there is an emphasis paragraph where we're just letting people know there is a new pension standard this year, and the main effect that had is on your entity-wide statements, the pension liability is booked as a liability now, whereas before it wasn't on your entity-wide balance sheet. Your budgetary statement still reflects pension expense based on the funding mechanism that the state does, so it's a well-funded plan, and you've always made your required contributions. However, on your entity-wide statement, there is about a $1.3 million liability for the pension plan, and that doesn't mean it's not funded well, it just means that's what the estimated liability over at this point in time is. And just if you jump ahead maybe to page 7 in the MD&A, if you can kind of see this is, last year on your entity-wide statement for 2014, you had about $1.5 million in unrestricted net assets. And then because of the new pension standard, that dropped to about $400,000. But then on page 16, which is your general fund, and this is your budgetary statement, and this is the statement the banks and everybody else looks at, Your unassigned fund balance was 1.5 million, which is in line with last year, and that shows that the town is doing very well, and it's something you should be proud of. That's one of our bigger reserves that people has. It shows you've got some good reserves if a hurricane or something like that happened. And on the income statement, the general fund did have a net change of fund balance of about $400,000 positive, which again shows that you're doing a good job of keeping your expenses down for the year. And then the only other reports we issue is there's a report on compliance and internal control, and as in the prior years, we didn't have any comments in that report. And then there was a management letter, and last year we had a segregation of duties comment, and we moved that this year because we felt that the internal controls were strong enough that that isn't an issue anymore, as long as you know that it's a potential issue and you are diligent, but it's not something that's significant enough to put in the management letter. So I think that you should be proud of your staff there, that they did improve things, and it's no longer a comment.
Good, thank you. Thank you. For a small staff, it's hard to make sure that you have enough separation of duties for that. So that's good, thank you. Any other
Excuse me,
comments?
Mayor?
Yes, Pat?
That was kind of garbled in and out, so I will just listen to what you say and go along with what you had to say.
Okay, so essentially, Mr. Morton reported that the audit report was clean, that the town has has adequate funding in the bank, is spending their money appropriately, and we have internal controls as we should. So from an audit standpoint, he calls it a clean look. So that was, I think that was sort of the summary, all good things, all good things.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anyone have any questions? Yes.
I just want to add, for as long as my memory can serve me, there's always been a comment about, with respect to segregation of duties. And so it's wonderful to hear that constructive criticism is not part of this audit anymore, even though it had nothing to do with a clean bill of health per se on a financial standpoint. It just goes to show that staff did everything they could to make sure that we did have a good control and overlap. So so kudos to staff for working with you and you feeling comfortable enough to lift that concern. Because it's been years,
Yeah.
right? That comment's been made like every year.
Yep. Yeah,
Good
thank you,
job.
thank you. Gil? And
Yeah, just to be perfectly clear, the pension funding, it's brought about to give visibility to it. It's accrued to the future, or it's accrued for the future, but it's also paid in the future. So it's not really an offsetting.
Well, it's kind of like if your plan were to stop today, that's kind of what their estimate of what the liability would be at this point in time. But yeah, it's good. It's going to keep continuing. So as long as you make your required contributions, the plan's healthy.
Just one last thing, I always like to hear the word compliance come from someone that's checking on us. Are we totally in compliance?
Yes.
Thank you.
very good. Any other questions? Any questions from the audience? Okay, well, thank you very much. And Wendy, once again, thank you so much for all that you do for us and for making it possible that we have such a good report every year. Thank you so much. Very good. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now for the, yes.
Well, we're still on the financial. I just wanted to make note of Wendy's quick response to our request of last month and the way the budget's prepared. It now has a column of percent to budget behind the budget, and it also has a percent year to date. And my first couple of times watching the budget, I really had a hard time with benchmark. Now I'm sleeping very well at night.
Good, thank you. Okay, now for the monthly financial report. As of May 31st, 2016, cash and investments, we have $3,304,486. Our budget for the year is $4,598,121. Currently, our revenue is $90,930 for this month, and year-to-date, $3,726,648, which is 81% of budget. That's low compared to last year, and that's for two different reasons. One is that about $450,000 of the budget is going to be pulled from our reserve account, and that does not actually count as revenue. So this particular year, we will never really get to 100% of revenue. The other thing is we're a little bit short on taxes. There's about $20,000 in taxes that should have been collected at this point and are not in, so we need to go track those down. On the expenditure side, again, as of May 31st, 2016, once again, the budget was $4,598,000. We spent $450,299. We accrued $29,706. Our current expense was $480,005, and year-to-date, we spent $2,960,295 for a total percentage of the budget of 64%, which is right on target for where we should be at this point. Actually, a little better than where we would be at this point if we were doing at a straight run rate. So I think the budget is looking fine. There's a couple of items where in a couple of different departments we're over. Legal being one of them, Keith. We're spending some public works we're over a little bit, and that's mainly because of overtime, and we're dealing with that. We're changing some of the ways that we do some things so that we will bring down the overtime. Police, same sort of thing. And legislative, we paid for the former mayor to go to the National League of Cities Conference. And risk management is just a timing issue as far as when we pay for our insurance. So that's where we are. But overall, we expect that we will be coming in right on budget or perhaps a little bit ahead, unless some unforeseen thing happens at this point. Okay? Any questions on the current status of the budget? Okay, on to the police department report, please. Chief
Madam
Young.
Mayor, we need a motion.
Oh, yes, sorry, thank you. May I have a motion to accept the finances as presented?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Very good. Oh, that's unanimous. Thank you. And now on to the police report. Thank you, Chief Young, and thank you, Yvonne, for reminding me.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, here, changing the format just a little bit, little graph. This was May of this year compared to May of last year. Pretty self-explanatory.
That's
Like, I usually give you the statistics, of what we've been doing, so this is it right here.
Pat is showing the May 2015 to May 2016 comparison graph.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm not here at all.
So the May 2015 is in blue, and last month is in red. So a little different. And just for fun, I included this month compared to last month, just to see the difference from month to month. Same categories. I want to talk to you just a little bit. This is the Uniform Crime Report. The Uniform Crime Report is something that we report every year to the FBI through Florida Department of Law Enforcement. The FBI tracks 7 major crimes, which is murder, rape, robbery, aggravated assault, burglary, larceny, and vehicle theft. And this is our Uniform Crime Report for the last 4 years. 2012 in blue, 13 in red, 14 in gray, I guess that is, and then yellow in 2015. So you see the biggest category we have is larcenies. The reason for that is, have I ever mentioned locking your car?
Yes, I believe you have.
Lock your car.
Lock your car.
Lock your car. Many times at night, or in the morning, we'll have somebody call in a burglar to their car where there's no forced entry, but they left the car unlocked, and somebody would go into the car and rummage it around. Especially along the Parkway corridor. And then the other issue, many of the marinas, the boat captains don't secure their rods and reels on their boats. They don't lock them up. and people come in, it's like, Christmas on the boats for rods and reels. So those are the two main reasons for the big spike there in larceny. This is traffic citations for June 2015 through May 2016. This is a year. So you see that most of my officers give warnings. They issued 69 citations. We had 1 DUI, and they had 3 criminal citations, just a breakdown for the year of what they do. I've never been a big proponent of actually writing the ticket when it comes to traffic citations or traffic stops. I always, while the officer has that car legally detained though, I always encourage them to ask questions, especially if, somebody's from Lantana or Lake Worth, and not saying that they don't have a right to be here, but, ask some questions, especially like, why is that AK-47 in your car? Just, things like that. But the guys are pretty busy. This is our crime rate. If you go back to the UCR, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, the FBI, they always report it per 100,000, which really doesn't make a lot of sense for a community this size. So I moved the decimal spot over 2 spaces to the left, so this is the crime rate per 1,000 population. And you see, last year we did pretty good. We had 23 crimes, reportable crimes per 1,000. 2014, we had a pretty big spike there. That's because, if you recall, in 2014, all the bicycle thefts that we had, so it boosted up a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see how we do this year. I think we'll hopefully see an improvement even over 2015. That's the end of the slideshow.
Very good. Any questions for the chief on the police report?
Nope, love the graphs.
Did you guys like that better? Like the graphs? Yeah.
Okay. And now you can take off your chief police hat and put on your fire chief hat.
Oh, sure. Oh, one other thing, we don't have a graph for this, but arrests. We had 3 arrests in May. One was a violation of domestic conjunction. They violated no contact order. One was a warrant arrest, and one was an aggravated assault. Now, on the fire side of the house. Oh, I'm sorry, one more thing on the police side. Those of you who are on our community policing mailing list, you've heard that there's going to be a volleyball tournament the weekend of the 25th and 26th in Riviera Beach down at their Ocean Mall area. They expect a lot of traffic congestion and people visiting, so I would highly suggest you take the Lake Drive exit when you're going out of town. Speaking of which,
I was gonna bring it up. but
yeah,
you-
well, I'm gonna bring it up.
Bring it up.
I was very unhappy with, even I had issues trying to get in town that Saturday because we were coming in for the fire chief interviews. And I was in full regalia, with my police car and had issue coming in. So I expressed my,
Well, explain to them what the event.
yeah, it was the triathlon. Yeah, the triathlon. I'm sure some of you may have had issues getting in and out of town. I called my go-to guy in Riviera Beach Police Department, which is Assistant Chief Madden. When you want things to happen, I always reach out to him. So next year it will not happen unless we have direct contact with the promoter and we make our needs known, what we need to know, and make sure that those needs are distributed to the rank and file when it comes to enforcing the
It was
actions.
dangerous, chief.
It was.
They shut Lake and Blue Heron. Didn't see a police officer, a civilian-looking person told us we had to turn around, and you can't. There's no way to turn around.
Right.
So we were backing ourselves up and doing like a 3-point turn. As all of us were in line, you know how many people come down Lake to get off the island.
It was a mess, I know.
And it was really dangerous. And there was people biking, there was people falling off their bikes, there was,
I didn't like the way the course was laid out. I mean, there's gonna be some changes for next year, otherwise it's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna speak for you, but it's not gonna
oh,
happen.
good, thank you.
All right, in the fire department, we had 1 meeting and 3 drills. in March. Average attendance was 28 personnel. 2 drills consisted of hose handling evolutions, 1 medical lecture with Dr. Keene. The medical lecture was on pediatrics, and 1 association meeting. In summary, we had 4 fire rescue related calls. The fire side responded to 4 fire alarms with an average of 3 responders. And we responded to 21 medical calls with an average of 2 responders per call. 5 sick persons, 5 falls with injuries, 1 abdominal pain, 1 seizure, 3 unconscious persons, 1 difficulty breathing, 1 assist person, 1 diabetic, 1 overdose, and that overdose was prescription medication, not anything illegal. 1 chest pain, and 1 fainting, otherwise known as syncope, but fainting. So it was a little quiet on the fire side of the house, but some good attendance and response all around.
Very good.
Mayor, that's all I have.
Yes, any other questions for the chief? No? Okay, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Alan Welch, Public Works.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. I'd like to start off my report with the Streets Department, especially with the project that we just accomplished over on Ocean Ave. We've had several downpours, as you might as well know. And I've been real happy and pleased with the way that the stormwater runoff has been directed to the grates that are in the streets, and also how it is flowing the amount of water to the outfalls in the inlet. I also observed that the one rain that we had 2 weeks ago, it was during a high tide, and we didn't have any issues. As far as I know, Mayan Tower has not had any issues as well, which is a great thing. So I think that with that first phase of the project being completed, it was a great impact on the improvement of the water and the flooding and areas that we had with the issues on Ocean Ave. So with that going, hopefully we can maybe go to a next phase and continue going south on Ocean Ave so that we can address the other issues down further south. And hopefully we're coming up with the town manager and I for a stormwater management program for Lake Drive as well. And we're starting to get information with different types of backflow valves and other devices to help with the high tides when inlet or when the intercoastal over there gets a little high and it starts flooding Lake Drive, especially around Bamboo and around the Cascade area. So we're working on that diligently so that we can try to improve that as well. I'd also like to mention about the grounds and parks. We're still working on the beautification project for the parkway. We're going to really start working and concentrating the area of the fountain area with the environmental committee. We're getting a little slim on the folks that are still here, but we will be in contact per the phone. And the other issue is other thing that we're taking care of is with the beach bathroom building. We will be improving with the windows. We have those old jalousie windows in there, and we'll be replacing them with regular windows as well as installing exhaust fans so that it'll improve the climate, temperatures, and odors in the bathrooms. And the street lights, we will be, we're right on schedule with that. July 11th through the 15th, we'll be having rental equipment in here so that staff and I can go ahead and start retrofitting the LED lights on the streets, and we'll be giving more updates on that. We are renting a mobile lift so that it's not only safe, but it's also time where it takes less time in order for us to do the repairs and the retrofitting. And again, we'll be updating that on the web and stuff. And then the town buildings, just want to let you know that we did complete the phone system for Town Hall. And I've been real pleased with that. It was much needed, and hopefully we won't have any more issues after the conference here on the Dias phone. But that's an easy fix, I know what to do. And then the other thing is I know you've seen some notices. Friday, we will be closed, Town Hall will be closed due to the termite tenting. It's not actually, we're gonna do what's called a tape and seal. It's not going to have the large canvas tent that's over Town Hall like you would see at some residential houses and businesses. It is a tape and seal because we are concrete, so they're able to do that system, which is, they've had some pretty good results on both applications, so we'll be pleased after they're finished. And then we'll resume back with regular business on Monday. So we'll make sure that everything is safe before all the other staff enter. I will be here on Sunday to personally see the readings and sign off to make sure of that. Other than that, the beach benches, I know we've gotten quite a few comments about that. We, other than painting and sealing the benches, we are completed with the boardwalk project, and I hope you folks are real pleased with that, and it should definitely benefit us maintenance and cost-wise in the future. I've been real pleased, and my staff, they worked really hard on that, and we were trying to get it completed before the heat of the summer definitely got to us. So hopefully everyone will enjoy that. And if there's any other questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Any questions for Alan? No? Okay, thank you. Lots of good work, as always. Okay, Mr. Hoon, the town manager report.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. The staff has already provided the meat and potatoes of what we've been doing this past month, so I don't have much to add other than 4 items. One is the fire chief selection. Personal interviews were conducted with 4 candidates on Saturday, June 11th, and we're close. We're real close, and as soon as we have a final, we will make a huge announcement. That's all I can say on that one. I attended the Florida City County Management Association annual conference on June 1 through 3. Got a lot of great information. Got a chance to discuss other city and town and county management business with my fellow managers, and I brought a lot back with that. The website's been given considerable attention the past few weeks. Going through and reviewing the analytics, I could see what people were actually looking for. However, they were buried 3 and 4 tiers down, so maneuvered it around a little bit, and if you check, you should be able to see not a different picture, but just things you navigate to normally are in a different location where you would normally find that information. Under residents would be things that residents are looking for. Under the town commission would be all the minutes, the agendas, and information there, and so forth. And soon, we will have a projects navigation pull down where things that were significant projects, once we get started on certain ones, we will provide project updates on those pages as well. And as the Public Works Director discussed, the Ocean Avenue Stormwater Project has been completed. The original contract to construction cost was $187,220. However, due to the change orders required throughout the project, the contracted cost was exceeded by $9,383. This amount was taken from various projects within the capital budget. As suggested by Mr. James Barton from Florida Technical Consultants, we will hold the final payment until the as-bills are submitted by the contractors, and all parties are in agreement with that. And that is all I have.
Okay, very good, thank you. Any questions for the town manager?
Yes, I have a question there.
Yes, go ahead.
Rich, the website looks great, and as I was looking over my bio, reading over it, I noticed that I did spell the mayor's last name incorrectly, and before she notices that, could you please change it?
If you hit refresh right now and look, that has been corrected.
That's been corrected?
Yes, ma'am.
Way to go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, Mayor.
Oh. I never noticed, I never noticed.
Those X's and C's, they get you every time.
Thank you. Okay, and thank you, Pat, Commissioner O'Hara, and Town Clerk Yvonne Browning.
Just wanted to remind everybody that there is a planning and zoning meeting next week on the 28th. We have one property coming before us. There is a July 18th commission meeting that y'all will be at. And there is also a July 20th scheduled special magistrate meeting for a property over on Cascade for property maintenance issues. Orlando has been doing a great job. He has 13 open cases right now. He's closed quite a few cases. He sends out friendly notices, and he's talking one-on-one with them. He's got a very kind spirit about him, and people have really opened up to him and doing a good job. Kind of wanted to I asked him, I said, what is your process? So I could explain it to the people. For things that are not hazardous violations, he gives them a friendly notice, and then he gives them 20 days to come into compliance. If after 20 days they haven't come into compliance, then he's going to give them another violation. They get 10 days. If they show some progress and they work with him, he will work with people to get their property up into compliance. If not, then that's when they go to the special magistrate if we just cannot come to a mutual agreement, especially on property maintenance issues, because they're eyesores to you, the neighbors. And so that's what this one over on Cascade is going. We also have a stop work order down the street on 325 Edwards. That was a construction project that they had a little hiccup on removing a wall that they shouldn't have done. So we've had a stop work until we can get some new plans and have their new project going forward. So your building department and your code enforcement department are doing a really good job, and proud of both of these gentlemen, what they're doing. So do you have any questions for me other than what's on my report?
No.
No? Very good, thank you.
Thank
Keep
you.
up the good work. And next, our town attorney, Keith Davis.
Thank you, Mayor. Just for the commission's information, the town did receive a new notice of claim letter from a new potential claimant that may result in another lawsuit related to the offer matter. By law, local governments have to be placed on notice 6 months before any suit is filed, so we're in that notice phase right now. If you have any particular questions about the matter, feel free to give me a call. I can speak to you individually about the substance of the claim, but if and when suit is filed, it will be forwarded to the insurance carrier for appropriate defense. So just be aware that it did happen. And we'll keep you posted as it develops, unless you have any general questions about that or any particular questions about any other matter. That's my report for tonight.
Thank you. Pat, could you hear all that?
Yes, I could, thank you.
Good, thank you. Any questions? No? All right, planning and zoning, Grace, there was no meeting last week, so we have met last month, so we have no report. Okay, commission reports. Vice Mayor Tropepi, would you like to start?
Sure. I sit on the Florida League of Cities Board of Directors, which is an honor. And we had a meeting in Jupiter, so Palm Beach County hosted the last Florida League board meeting. And I just want to report on two quick things that I thought was very interesting. We were briefed on what's called the Florida Constitution Revision Commission. The Florida Constitution gets reviewed every 20 years. 37 members are chosen, and it's a pretty significant process, but it's a very prestigious process. It's historic because it only happens once every 20 years, and we are expected to vote on the potential changes in 2018. So the Florida League has briefed the board to let them know and to let us know that if there's something specific to our Constitution that's important to us, as municipalities. And of course, you know, home rule and our ability to determine our destinies always comes out to be the number one issue. We're trying to be proactive now, before 2018, so that we're not on the defense when the proposed changes are on the ballot. So that's what the Florida League's looking at right now. Maybe we could put this on the website for informational purposes. It's a short PowerPoint on what does this mean and what's the process and did you know, and some historical facts. But it's very interesting, and I'm glad that the staff at the Florida League has taken a proactive approach to this in 2016, because it will be coming up in 2018.
So is someone from the Florida League of Cities going to be on the commission?
Well, that's a great question, because that was part of the discussion, was to try to get one of us to be one of the 37. There's a process involved on who, 15 of them get appointed by the governor. 9 are appointed by the Speaker of the Florida House of Representatives, 9 are appointed by the President of the Senate, 3 are appointed by the Chief Justice of the Florida Supreme Court, and 1 by the Attorney General. So it's all broken down, and they all have this analyzed on how we could try to embed ourselves, at least to be one of the 37. I'm not exactly sure how they're going to go about this, but this was the first that we as a board heard about it. So it's pretty exciting to be a part of it. The other thing is I wanted to let you all know the Florida League in the last year or so has been discussing the ability to assist municipalities in times of crisis. So we agreed to put some funding aside to assist municipalities, and it's somewhat, sad, because we just went through what we did in Orlando. But the good news is we as the Florida League agreed to put this program in place, and it'll be interesting to hear what the Florida League came in and assisted Orlando. The incident could have happened in any one of the 411 municipalities in the state, and some of us have the capabilities of a public relations department to assist in getting through this crisis, but most of us don't have that assistance. And so we all felt that there was a need, and sure enough, here we have Orlando. And though Orlando's a big city, those 5 elected officials are going through some challenging times, and we sent a memo over to them to express our condolences as a league, and so, I know we pray for all the victims, but, we said a little prayer to the leaders in Orlando too for trying to carry out and do the right thing. So those were 2 big things that happened at the Florida League. In August, the annual meeting will be held in Broward County, and Susan Haney, who's the mayor of the city of Boca Raton, is going to be the next president of the Florida League. And so it's a pretty prestigious position to represent the entire state. And so hopefully we'll have good representation from our town in August.
Right.
And that's my report.
Right, thank you. And I was going to bring that up also, but if any of the commissioners would like to go, staff want to go to this, since it is in Hollywood, we should all go, and they have lots of good conferences.
Workshops.
And workshops, and a great way to meet your peers and all
I'm
that.
sorry.
So Yvonne is collecting up names, and so Pat, if you should talk to Yvonne and make arrangements with her to go. And even though it is in Hollywood, if you want to stay over 1 night or 2 nights, it makes sense, because that's just as important to get to meet your fellow electeds on a social basis as it is to be sitting next to them in a meeting. So, all right.
I will talk to him.
Good, thank you. Okay, that's it, good. Mr. Gilgallen?
Yes, just a quick one. I did attend the Save Our Inlet Coalition meeting. It was the first one since we've gotten together, and I was very impressed with the depth of knowledge of the people that are on it, and I was pleasantly surprised at the attitude. Quite a bit was spoken about the earlier information reported by the port, that they were working together and everything was lovey-dovey. Of course, by the time I got out of the meeting, there was a new announcement, and I'll let you pick that one up. But they went out of their way to welcome our town, and it was nice, very good.
Thank you for representing us there, appreciate it. Commissioner O'Hara, do you have a report today?
No report, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I have a couple of things. I completed the county ethics training and turned in my forms. I've done that. I hope everyone else on the dais has done that as well. This month I went to the port meeting. There were actually two since our last commission. I think we put it on the website that they've announced that they're dropping their major project in order to deepen the inlet to 39 feet and to widen and that sort of thing. That doesn't mean that the widening part and all of that's going away forever, but for right now, they're putting that aside. So that's very good news for us. I've been getting involved with the Palm Beach North, or the Northern Palm Beach County Chamber of Commerce, going to their government affairs meetings and meeting other local government officials, and which has been very helpful in learning about different issues that are going on and finding partners for us for things that we're dealing with as well. I went to Hal Valeschi's County Commission update and to hear what was going on from the county commission level, Palm Beach County League of Cities, and I represented the town at the Lake Park Memorial Day VFW affair, which was very moving. They did a beautiful job. Dick Wyzanski wanted me to remind everybody there's an underwater photo contest that people might want to participate in. I see some photographers out there in the audience, so I left some information about it out there in the back. So there's prizes, and it's all through Palm Beach County, so that would be great. And lastly, I just wanted to talk about the two poles that are going up that Florida Power and Light is putting up on Atlantic, one on Blossom and the other on Bravado. They are not part of the official hardening project, even though they sort of look like they are. They are designed to improve the switching and to improve reliability for the town. So we've tried a number of times to stop that project in anticipation of us going forward with the undergrounding project. But since that does not fall under that particular category, we've been unsuccessful. They're just finishing up on the one on Blossom, and they'll be moving down to Bravado shortly. So there's no more power going through there. It's merely switching. It is the equipment looks very scary, but it's really designed to help with routing traffic should there be outages and that sort of thing. So that should be done in the next couple of weeks. Okay. All right. So. We can now move on to public comments. We ask that it's 3 minutes apiece, and we will start from left to right. And remember, we can try to address the commission, and we also try to maintain proper decorum. So, yes, sir, I saw your hand go up first. Would you like to address the commission? Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Going left to right. Sorry.
The other left. The other left.
Hello. My name is Scott Schroeder. I live on Linda Lane. I want to bring a matter to attention. A number of times I've been over to City Hall here, Town Hall, and expressed my concerns about the fact that trees and foliage are growing up into the electrical wires and into the other equipment, the transformers and so forth. Pretty much every time I've done it, I've been given the same answer. FPL, FPL, FPL. Nothing has been done. I've not agreed with that from what I knew, but whatever. I was just kind of gently told to leave, not in those terms. Okay, let's go forward. Saturday night, my daughters came down from school for Father's Day weekend. Saturday night, we're there at the house. All of a sudden, pop, 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 there goes a transformer next door. I look outside, I say, girls, come on, look at this, the tree's on fire behind us. And sure enough, she was on fire. It wasn't a big fire, about this big. I said, let's just watch it. I don't think it's a big deal. We don't need to call the fire department. I'll go to town hall on Monday and lodge one more complaint. So be it. Yesterday, we're there, late in the afternoon. All of a sudden, the transformer goes pop, 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 pop. Okay? And at the same time, inside our house, all the light bulbs are going really bright, go pop, 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 pop. The whole house is going pop, pop, pop. At the same time that the transformer is going pop, 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 the house inside starts smelling like electrical fire. My girls are freaking out, quite obviously. I'm yelling, turn off the air conditioner, turn off the TV, turn off this. We got a problem. Sorry about this, Chief, but so I called the police and said I got a problem, and they said call FPL. My answer was, you know what? There's actually wires, there's hot wires that have fallen down off of the transformer, falling down out of the tree and into the rest of the foliage. Police came, fire department came, called FPL. FPL sent some people out. Saturday night about 10:30 maybe, they got to my house. They were there, well, first off, they were there, they went to the transformer, they cut it off, cut all my neighbors off, like nice HP over there. And none of us had electric. They said, okay, now we're gonna have to, I just want you to understand, and if you want to tell me, I only got 3 minutes, but I think this is an important thing. They said, okay, we're gonna have to have the guys come out and cut the tree limbs before we can even go up to the wires. Those guys came in, they started cutting about 2 o'clock in the morning, they're sitting in the backyard, and I went out and said, hey guys, how you doing nicely? They said, we're not going up there, you look at all those sparks and everything in the tree, we're not getting electrocuted. So it turns out they were there until 6:30 the next morning, trimming all this foliage in these trees that I had complained about. In the meantime, we have no electricity. So what do? I called, nothing happened. I could give them anything to happen, so called FPL. I called FPL today, and I said, what is the situation here? I've been told by the town of Palm Beach Shores, this is an FPL issue. They've told me that time and time again. Is that true? They said, well, it's true to the point. If somebody calls and asks for this to be done, this trimming to be done, we will do it. So I said, well, what about me? They said, well, you can do that, but we can only do the one behind your house. We can't go anyplace else. So my question was, so all the way to Atlantic, all the way to Lake? What good does it do? Because all this wiring is up in the trees. So they said it has to be done by the town. So where am I now? Florida Power and Light has told me because of the damage that they saw and are aware of, that I should make a claim with Florida Power and Light. Again, I'm sorry to laugh, but it's really, it's just crazy. The DSL lines look like they were blowtorched. FPL is telling me I should get an electrician because there's probably damage behind my walls based upon the fact that everything's going pop, 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 pop. Okay. I took the day off just to try and get people to come out and do some repairs and so forth. So I'm extremely unhappy with the town of Palm Beach Shores under these circumstances.
I got your message this morning, and we spent most of the day on the phone with FP&L and trying to deal with figuring out how we could do something about that ourselves. So we're working on it. We traditionally have not done it. It is FP&L. That should be the way it's done. That if somebody has a dangerous situation behind their house, they're supposed to call, and FP&L is supposed to come and trim it back. Though they don't do it in a beautiful manner, they'll just come in and chop it all away. So that is the process. But we're working with them, and we're Also trying to figure out how to get these lines underground so that we don't have this transformer problem going forward, and we don't have the trees banging into the transformers. I think that's the ultimate solution to this personally.
I totally disagree.
Okay.
I think that the town has an ordinance that allows them to force the homeowners, and again, that's what FPL said.
Actually, our ordinance says that the trees are supposed to be cut, but it doesn't say who is responsible for doing it. So it does not give us the ability to force the homeowners to do it.
Well, that's,
So we would have to go back and rewrite our ordinance at this point.
and that ordinance has been there since 1991, and I've been doing this for years, quite honestly.
Right.
And I think if they're trimmed, then, if they're trimmed the way they should be, I'm not sure that the need to put the lines underground is really
Well,
not
there's
necessary, quite
there's more
honestly.
reasons than that, though. So I understand your issue. I'm very sorry. I know you're having a hard time. We did not hear that you folks were out. It was not transmitted to me. It was not transmitted to the town manager. We would have been there to help you if we'd known. So I apologize. We'll talk. We'll keep working with FP&L, and we will figure out how to deal with the situation.
Quite honestly, what really upsets me is this town commission, they come and they tell me that my roof is too dirty, I need to clean it, I can't park my car in the grass, and they've done nothing about this issue, and now I have the problem. It's kind of too late. I'm still on my own as to what I'm gonna do with all this damage to my house. So I just wanted to come tonight and express my extreme displeasure with the commission.
Thank you. Well,
Thank you.
Your roof and your power situation are two separate issues. They're not related to.
Oh, I agree, yes, but my point being, the town has had time to hassle me about my roof being a little bit dirty and a car being parked in the grass. But when I come here, and especially with La Nina coming, and express my concern, not just for my house, but for the whole town. I've been through this once before, 10 years ago, where we had, I don't know how many days we had that problem. And it was really, in large part, it was because of the trees that were backing the wires.
I
And here
appreciate
we
that.
are again.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.
Mayor,
Yes, Commissioner O'Hara.
what street does he live on?
It's on Linda, I believe?
Linda.
Yes, on Linda Lane.
Linda, okay, thank you.
Any other public comments? Yes, ma'am.
I'm Tricia Jones, 245 Linda Lane. We also have electrical damage that we're having repaired tomorrow. We have no Wi-Fi, et cetera, et cetera. We have an out-of-state businesses, and so it's really been detrimental today. But my big question is, what are the guidelines for the easement behind the properties? Because that's where the trees are that are causing the problems, and they were not planted by the residents. I think they've always been there. So when we bought our home and we remodeled, we tore down all the vegetation inside our lot line, but nothing in the easement. And I'm not sure if the easement is 5 or 6 feet, if we own half and then our neighbors behind us own and are responsible for the other half. I don't know those answers, and I haven't been able to find them.
Right. So this is a new issue for me. We need some time to look into it, and we're working on it. We will make it a
Yeah,
priority to
because
figure
a
it
lot
out.
of these trees are not beautiful trees.
Right.
And, I would like to cut them down
Right.
if they're on my side and it's my choice to do
Yes,
so.
ma'am. So safety is our number one priority, and it sounds like this was an unsafe situation, and that's not acceptable under any circumstances, so we need to figure out how to do it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Do you want me to just a few things just to clarify historically?
Good, thank you.
The plat of Palm Beach Shores, which, I think was incorporated in 1951. On the plat, it will designate the width of the utility easement in the rear of all the properties. To the best of my recollection, I don't have a plat here in front of me, but half is on your property and the other half is behind you, so you share the utility easement, from the best of my recollection. With respect to plantings, people plant everywhere. I'm not saying that all the plantings were done by residents, But the town, to the best of my knowledge, did not have a planting plan in the utility easements. In fact, that's prohibited to plant in a utility easement. Now, I've lived in my house since 1997. I've seen 2 cabbage palms grow from, I don't know where, like weeds. Those cabbage palms grow like weeds in the back. And we've tried to cut them down and they still come back. So sometimes it happens over time, these trees grow in the back. And again, later on in our agenda, when we talk about undergrounding, you know, we could utilize that utility easement for other purposes if we can get the power lines out of there and underground, so we can clear that area out and possibly use it for other purposes than dealing with trees and vegetation and above ground lines and wooden power poles that are half falling down. So I'm saying this to staff, just if you come to town hall, the plat, we have the plat here, you can see what it is. Also, your survey should show the easement width on your property.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, thank you.
For newcomers to the area.
Yes, can you now tell your name and your address, please?
I'm Carol Loomis, 200 Bravado Lane.
I'm Dolly Donovan.
Same. So we just moved into the area.
Speak in the microphone, sorry, so our commissioner can hear you, thank
We're
you.
brand new residents here.
Good, welcome.
And it's ironic that we reported an outage for 13 hours yesterday as well. The whole block was dark. A new pole goes up down on Blossom. Of course, we all know what it looks like. And then the trucks are coming by our house wanting to put that same pole up. And so Florida Power and Light came by last night because of this outage, and we had a long talk with him. And he said that this is, I guess we moved into a can of worms here, because all the neighbors said, this happens all the time. And here we're getting these massive commercial poles. The same day, the power goes off. Wow, this is really ironic. We have poles in our backyard that are like sideways. They're the stick poles. So they're concentrating on putting these massive poles up when we have an issue of all this going in our backyard. And then he's blaming the town, and then we're blaming them, and really there's nothing happening. There's really nothing that's being done about this. And it's serious, obviously it's serious, because all our lights went pop, pop, pop.
And this is not only, we're very concerned about our health, because these poles are incredibly strong, and nobody said anything about what is the effects that is going to happen to us, mostly living right next to it. We want to see, because as like you said, it's about safe. We need to be safe, and we are really, really concerned about this, not only us, but all of us. This is a big concern. FPL hasn't shown anything. Of course, we're not going to ask them, because they're right, and this is all for good. So absolutely, we're not going to allow to put this pole until it's shown. I mean, this is so wrong. And so last night, we asked the FPL guy, I said, okay, so this is with the new poles, this is not gonna happen. He said, no, absolutely, this is totally different. It's gonna continue happening because people don't cut the trees. So why are you putting these big poles? That doesn't make any sense. What is the reason you pole? Is it all for money? Because it's what it is. So we're really concerned, and we're not going, and we need the support of you to help us and to protect us.
Well, not only that, they want to put, there is one big pole already on the corner. We have two poles, obviously, on our yard, Now they wanna put another gigantic pole, that makes 3 poles. So we have a very beautiful front yard of Florida Power Line poles. And I said, are you taking down the old poles? No, because those are, AT&T and other lines have those poles. So we've got we have a beautiful light pole, but then we have 3 other poles coming in. And that doesn't even include the hard wiring that supposedly is coming in as well.
So then I suggest when you get your straw poll ballot that you vote for undergrounding so that all the polls go away.
That's what we're
And that is what we're trying to do.
That's
That is the ultimate solution.
Appreciate objectivity.
whatever we can do to help, but it sounds to me that
Make sure you get a voter
There's-
registration card as a new
in the
resident, so you
meantime,
can vote.
though, with fires going on, where do we stand with this, with the power going off constantly? We have that downed pole in the backyard, and they're saying it's the town that has to go back and clean it up? Or what do we do? I don't know what we do.
I understand.
We just
So,
moved here. It's
I
like,
understand.
wow, we moved into a big can of worms.
I understand. Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Chuck?
Mr. Howard, welcome back.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, Commission, Chuck Howard, 101 Beach Road. The only request that I have is that if we are to remain objective, I would like the commission to remain objective as well. And there's a question that I have regarding enforcement of responsibilities, and forgive me for saying this, but I almost get a conspiracy theory going on, and enforced by codes.
Right, so as I said, it's not clear in the code. The code does not give a particular responsibility to this, and we're working on it. This was only brought to our attention today, and so we're working on it. I know it's going to take us a little while to figure out this. We do not have, I hate to put it this way, but we don't have the money in the budget to go through all of the easements and chop down all the trees at this point. It would practically bankrupt the town. So we need to, which is not to say that we're not going to do this safely. We have to keep working with FP&L and figure out how we can get something done. If somebody has a dangerous situation in their backyard, they should be calling FP&L and asking them to come and trim the trees. That's the process.
Historically, FP&L would go into utility easements annually. You've seen them if you've been here long enough.
Yes, I have.
FP&L used to go back there and trim all the trees. I've been here for a long time, probably almost 2 decades, close.
And I would assume that the gentleman whose name I missed
Mr. Schroeder.
could very easily, and has asked the town, if the town calls and states that the code enforcement have seen issues regarding this, 2 things, 2 options. Either FPL could affect the trimming, whether it be clean or a blunt cut like as I would do, or possibly we could even employ the fire department, the volunteer fire department, who has
Right, so I
and maybe they can provide it.
Good, so I
they can
appreciate your suggestions, Chuck. I'm telling you, we started working on this today. We are in conversation with FP&L. We will figure something out. We were working on that. And as to your conspiracy theory, I only wish that I was as powerful and as smart as you think that I am.
I think you're extremely intelligent. I've never underestimated you, Myra.
Yeah, right. We will figure this out. We are working on it.
Last point,
Thank you.
I'd like to see objectivity here. The bottom line is I'm hearing the commission spook the residents and shoot for underground utilities. Make a case, we'll support it, but that's not the way to do it.
Thank you.
Mayor,
Yes. Yeah.
I did learn today.
That's not the way to do it.
Thank you.
Mayor,
Yes. Yeah.
I did learn today that cutting can only be done by FPL approved crews. Only, there's such a huge liability.
In the wire, yes. Outside the wire, no.
That's what we're talking about. Any other public comments? Okay, then I'm going to close public comments, and now we're going to get presentations. And Dorothy, we're getting to you. I'd like to introduce Dorothy Jacks, the Chief Deputy Property Appraiser, who is going to give us an overview of the property values here in Palm Beach Shores.
Thank you very much, Mayor and Commissioners. It's a pleasure to be with you this evening. I have a very short presentation, and then I'd be happy to answer some questions. The Palm Beach County Property Appraiser's Office is just in the process of doing some community outreach and sharing with all the municipalities a little bit more personal detail about property values in communities. I think you are about my 17th presentation, so we're making our way through the 38 municipalities in Palm Beach County. So I'll get started. Went too far. Palm Beach Shores, probably of those 38 cities in the mid-range of value, not big, not small, when it comes to value at $624 million. Market value and then taxable value is $550 million. These are 2016 numbers, the estimates that we just released in the last month. The parcel count, just 989 parcels. That is in the lower third. So again, your value is high, but your parcel count is low, which is a nice thing. It means you have higher value property. Year over year, you showed a 3.4% increase in value this year over last year so far. That number may actually go up ever so slightly when we release the preliminary estimates, which is in about 10 days at the very end of the month for the July 1 releases. Now I'll show you how we get from that market value to the taxable value. This is really a reflection of where the deductions happen on the tax roll, and there are two specific places. The first are a set of what's called assessment differentials. That's where a reduction has occurred because of some law, always a law that says that benefits are granted. The first thing you see there is the Save Our Homes differential. If you have a homestead exemption, which probably many of you in the room do, a homestead, of course, granted to those who are permanent residents of Florida, and you get that benefit on your home only. Get a benefit of a 3% cap or Save Our Homes differential. That is where your value only increases year over year 3%, or the change in the CPI, whichever is less. And in Palm Beach Shores, that differential in total, if you take all your homesteaded properties, is reducing your roll 38 million. The 10% is on non-homesteaded property, so vacation homes, rental homes, and certainly any commercial property at all, or vacant property, also receives a 10% cap. In other words, if your value increases more than 10% year over year, you're capped or controlled at a 10% increase. Now, both these caps come off at the time of sale. So in other words, the property value resets every time the property sells, resets to market, as we call it. And then you do have some deduction for working waterfronts, and that's taking your roll, if you look at the 100%, down 7% for those differentials. So then we go to the exemptions themselves, and that includes, of course, the homestead exemption. The additional homestead exemption is separated because it applies only to properties whose value exceed $75,000. So in other words, everybody gets the first 25 homestead exempted, the first 25 in value. Everyone pays on the second 25, and then this additional homestead kicks in above that level. So that's why the number is slightly different. In your case, it's inconsequential how different. It's not even 50,000 different. And then tangible personal property, all businesses pay tax on their inventory and equipment, so desks, tables, chairs, in a restaurant, certainly all of that, the bar equipment, the cash registers and so forth. And every small business, all business get a $25,000 exemption there. Government property, 7 million, no institutional property, that would be churches, schools, not-for-profits, that sort of thing. And then additional personal exemptions, including widower, disabilities, any veterans benefits. There are some nice veterans benefits. And that takes you down another 4%. So your taxable value is 88% of your market value. Now I want to stop there and tell you something kind of neat, which I found when I was looking over your numbers today. You have the best, in Palm Beach County, of 38 cities, the best percentage change from market to taxable. In other words, you are losing the least off of your tax roll of any municipality in the county. And just to give you a range, so if 88.1% is the height, the lowest is in the 40% range. So in other words, we do have communities that are losing 60% of their tax roll to the assessment differentials and the exemptions. So just something I think to be proud of. It's a good sign. It means you have a lot of ability to retain your tax roll, as it were. In other words, you're not losing your tax roll to caps and exemptions. Just some very simple pie charts to show you the breakdown of Palm Beach Shores. Probably again, the significance of the timeshare piece, which is we've broken out here for you in the gray, the sort of light gray color on the left. And then condominiums, residential is in that kind of buff color. And then on around to some of the smaller properties, tangible, commercial, multifamily. Multifamily is the blue. Multifamily is designated as, basically it's a rental system where if you are more than 10 units of rental, you become multifamily. And just a final slide with 3 thoughts about Palm Beach Shores specifically. The timeshares are making up 43% of the value. Thank you, Mayor, for catching that error that you pointed out to me. That was my error, not my staff's, I will tell you. Palm Beach Shores actually has 62% of all the timeshares in the county. But it does make up 43% of the town's taxable value. Now the good news is timeshares are showing a little bit of recovery. I know it was a tricky thing for the town for some years there in the recession because timeshares really did drop. I mean, lots of things dropped, but timeshares did also. But certainly now we are seeing some recovery from that, and hopefully as things progress and move forward, it's just a matter of evening out that mix of properties, if that's a way to put it. The mix of properties is always important. I think in your case, again, we talked about the really nice benefit of not having too many caps or exemptions, but this would be the other side of that, is the mix of the properties being, maybe, I don't want to say they're lopsided because it isn't, but it's certainly something that you'll always have to face. But actually comment number 3 about your new condominium that will add to the 2017 roll with, I think we understand it's going to finish sometime this year. Right. So it would go on to the 17 roll for the first time. The law always says that we cannot add it until it's complete. So we will add it for 17. But that will be great. That's great new value that's not timeshare. And certainly we're seeing this, I'm sure you are too, this remodeling, or as I like to call it, refreshing of single-family homes, that people are just improving the interiors and the exteriors of their homes, and that of course helps market value over the long term. So thank you very much. That's the end of my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
I would just like to point out that because of the 43% on the timeshares, the property appraiser plays a very important role in the financial future of this town. The timeshare people on a regular basis go to challenge those assessments, and they're the Marriott is sort of helping them in that they're trying to change it from being a dollar-based system to a points-based system, which would make it more and more difficult for the property appraiser to set a value to it, and if they can't set a value, then we can't tax it. So, and the property appraiser has been our champion over the past few years in protecting us, because we would be devastated if that went through. So kudos to you, and thank you for your support of us, and if you need us to be there ever, you let us know, and we will be there to support you as well.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Dorothy? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you
Nice
for
to
your
meet you.
presentation.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to ordinances and resolutions. We have Resolution R-7-16. Keith, could you read it for us, please?
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution R-716, resolution of the Town Commission of the Town of Palm Beach Shores, Florida, designating the mayor of the Town of Palm Beach Shores and the Town of Palm Beach Shores clerk as individuals with authority to add and remove users and signatories to the town's PNC Bank Visa account and make other required or desired changes to said account on behalf of the town, providing effective date and for other purposes.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any questions or discussions on this matter? It seems pretty straightforward. Yes, please.
I move to approve resolution R-7-16.
And do I have
I
a second?
second the motion.
Very good, thank you. Any other questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And that passes unanimously, thank you. Okay, moving on to other business. 9A, underground feasibility study and straw poll. So there was a lot of reading material here. We've been working on this every day for the past 2 months. Once again, I'd like to thank Elizabeth Kiekenmeister and Doug McDowell and Frank McNeil, who's not here with us today, who've been working with me on coming up with the materials and the process for doing the straw poll. The feasibility study, as you know, has been done. It's 18 pages long, and the big news, of course, in it is that the cost hasn't really changed that dramatically from $4.3 million, and then Danny Brannon, the engineer, put about an $871,000 contingency on top of it, so the not-to-exceed number is $5.2 million. Tonight, what I would like to do is to have a conversation about, because I want the commission to be clear with the funding possibilities, and before we take it as a straw poll to the people. As I laid out in my overview, there are a number of different funding mechanisms that we can use, and the only one that would cover all of it would be if we just raised ad valorem revenues to cover the whole thing. I'm trying to get back to the dollar amount. The dollar amount would go somewhere between $330,000, I believe, up to $450,000. Or $340,000 to $450,000, and that depends on whether we get a 3% interest rate or a 3.5% interest rate, and whether the cost of the project comes in at $4.3 million or $5.2. So the banks, the process would be that we would go out and do an RFP through banks to take out a loan. It would be probably a general obligation bond that would be formatted to us as a loan. But we would be more likely to get the lower and lowest rate possible if the town is willing to commit ad valorem revenues to the repayment of the loan. We have the utility consumption tax as one of our mainstays for paying this back. That's the good news, is that we have that there. We haven't gotten our actual numbers yet, but we believe that the $270,000 per year is about the right amount of money. It might even be a little higher than that. but that will not cover 100% of it. The other side of that, of course, is that we wanted to put in the utility consumption tax as a way to diversify our revenues, our revenue streams, to give us more, something to help offset in the case of downturns. So if we were going to commit all of that to the repayment of the utility undergrounding project, then that sort of undoes that benefit for us. So we would still be getting that money in. So the question is, how do we make up the difference? And the other thing is, if we do ad valorem revenues, then we do have to take it once again to the voters, and in that case it would be registered voters, and it would have to be an official referendum that we would put either on the November ballot or on the March ballot, so that we would commit the town's future use of ad valorem revenues to the repayment of the loan. So those are the topics that I would like to discuss tonight. I want to make sure that the commission understands I don't want to be insulting, but the seriousness of the 15-year, $5.2 million loan and the repayment options, and that we are all willing as a group to make that commitment going forward, because I see no point in taking this in a straw poll to the voters if we as a group are not going to be willing to do what's necessary in order to repay the loan. So that's that's point number one. And point number two is we want to make sure that if we are committing these funds to this project, that there is still money in the budget for us to do other major projects. We have road resurfacing that has to be done. We have a community center that's about 10 years old and will be needing concrete repair work, one of Gil's favorite projects. That's another expensive kind of thing, that there are unforeseen things coming down the pike, and we want to make sure that if we're making this kind of commitment to this project, that we still are willing to do what we have to fund other necessary capital projects, so that other things do not suffer as a result of us taking this on. So those are the things I'd like to discuss, and I'll open it up to any one of the three of you if you have any thoughts. Yes, Gil?
No, I think the most important vote is going to be the straw vote. We've been in this and deeply involved in the details, and I think the proposal is very objective, so that it's going to reach out to everyone, and then we're going to get a clear understanding of what the town wants to be when they grow up. I mean, to me, the reason to go to the next step is to have everyone in town as informed as we are on it, and then you have to make a decision. You know, I must say, living in a condo, I was suspicious of the whole project, and a couple of huge things entered for me, and that one of them was going to Jupiter Colony Inlet. And if anyone has a question about it, or even if you don't have a question, you should go there just to see what it's like. It's nothing I ever dreamt. I really had no idea that when I drove in, I was going to drive out with basically a different feeling. And I think the other thing that would make it important for us to consider it as a town is what's going on in the backyards will not go away. It will not go away if we just have Florida Power Light come and put new poles out in front, and we're going to live with that for the rest of our lives.
Thank you. Lisa?
Well, on a finance standpoint, thank you for breaking this down the way you did. I mean, there's still a lot of questions as to how to assess the individual areas, but let's just look at things like, say, on an average, simplistically. looking like approximately 400,000 a year for 15 years. If we utilize the utility tax in its entirety, because it is a utility tax, granted, we wanted it for diversity, but this is diversity.
Yep.
And so thank goodness you found this a couple years ago. It leaves us short of approximately $100,000 a year for the next 15 years. And then we'll have to figure out other ways in the budget and other cost savings and other non-ad valorem revenues. But in my mind, it's approximately $100,000. That's the shortfall.
And you think that's a doable amount to fund, is what I'm hearing you say?
I think so, because we've been through this before when we did the major improvements in town, where we took out a loan and we made payments back. The town does not owe anybody anything. We've paid back the loan to put in the traffic calming improvements, the linear park improvements, the lights, the street lights. All of that has been paid off. So we are debt free. We worked with budgets before where we had to pay a loan. I don't remember exactly what that was annually.
I think it was about $220,000
A year?
left, but I think that's about how much it was.
Okay, so, that's half of what would be the shortfall in my mind. And at the risk of being objective or non-objective, the people need to make the decision whether they want this or not, and understand the safety issue with respect to this. I don't see it as something that we cannot do fiscally, because we have done it before. Many years ago, when $200,000 was a lot of money, and now it appears that we would have a shortfall of approximately 100,000. So I'm glad that you laid it out this way, because you can see that there's actually 5 different ways we can skin this cat. And utilizing the first one in its entirety, because it is a utility tax, will get us 3/4 of what we need for the loan itself. So I don't like taking out loans, but sometimes you need to do that in order to progress and move forward and be safe.
Right.
And so the shortfall in my mind is not much of a shortfall, and something that we can fiscally take care of annually in our budget.
Right, thank you. Well, one of the hard things about doing it this way, as opposed to doing an assessment, just a straight assessment the way we did with the sanitary sewer lines, is that people are asking me, so how much is this gonna cost me?
Right.
And it's almost impossible to calculate it, because it's gonna depend on how much you use your utilities, whether you're homesteaded or not, whether you're, it's sort of gonna be a mix and match as to how we put this together. And we will give people the information that they can sort of calculate it for themselves, or I can help them calculate it. But it's not gonna be a straightforward, give us a check for $2,000 and you're out. It's not gonna be that kind of thing.
But is there a way that, engineers are good at this, you can give them a range?
Right. We can
Okay.
do that. We can do that.
I mean, a range would be nice.
Yes. Commissioner O'Hara, do you have something you want to add at this point?
So you never ask.
Mm-hmm.
This is never going to get any cheaper than now. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Okay. It's never going to get any cheaper than it is now. When I did see this report, and by the way, Mayor, kudos to you for, I was rather concerned when I said 20,000, not to exceed 20,000 for this report. And
Very good, thank you, Commissioner.
Yeah.
Well, I also agree, I would love to give the people in town the opportunity to have their say in this, and I think, you know, now's the time to do it. Now's the time to do it. So, were there any other questions on the feasibility study? It was pretty straightforward, all of it, right? And
So it will be mailed.
so assuming that we accept the feasibility study and once again confirm we're going ahead with the straw poll tonight, which I assume, then tomorrow we're going over to the printer mail house and we'll deliver all the materials to them and we will get it in the mail, I would say within the week, and we'll give people 30 days to get it back to us, and so by the end of July we should have an answer.
We need to make it official.
We do. I would like to make it
Accept the feasibility
Yeah.
study and move on with the straw.
Yes, please.
Is that a motion?
That's the motion.
Very good.
I'll second the motion.
Very good. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. Thank you all. Thank you. We will let you know how it goes. Thank you very much. Okay, next, elevator bids. Town Manager, Mr. Hoon.
Yes, ma'am. Let me get to that section. All right, not many people caught my little funny last month about the elevator being down more than it's up. So, all right, at least we got something now. This year in the Capitol, $29,000 was budgeted for repair, and there's a list of about 8 to 10 things here that we had a professional come in and look at and said, you need to get this done and repaired. So, let's see. On May 6th, the town published an invitation to bid in the local newspaper and on the town's website with a cutoff date of 12 noon, May 27. 3 bids were received and opened promptly at a public meeting at 9 a.m. Friday, June 10th. And the following bid information was presented. The first bid was from Eastern Elevator Service from Davie, Florida for $41,000. The second was from Maury Elevator Company of Florida from Davie, Florida for $41,730. And the third one was Expert Elevator Services from Royal Palm Beach in the amount of $31,500. And of course, they had a 1-year warranty. With that said, we've made recommendations. The staff has recommended the cheapest one, obviously, in the amount of $31,500, and to approve an additional $2,500 from one of the capital line items I have listed, and authorize the mayor to sign a contract when available.
Yes, please.
I move to award the bid to Expert Elevator Services in the amount of $31,500, which is the lowest qualified bidder, and to approve an additional $2,500 from the capital line item as stated in our packet to authorize the mayor to sign a contract for these services.
I second the motion,
Very
like the idea that it's a company that's already worked at the community center and the elevator and is a local company.
Yes, good, thank you. Any other comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Aye, and the motion passes unanimously, thank you. Budget schedule, please, Mr. Hoon.
Yes, ma'am. Every year we have to go through a series of meetings, and Wendy and I put together a proposed budget schedule to include the workshops. The workshop set the tentative millage rate, or immediately following a meeting to set the tentative, or to set the millage rate, and then further 2 budget hearings. We did everything we could to avoid some of the required things, and that was the first Tuesday evenings, planning and zoning meetings, firefighter training, sunset of sailfish, and the important ones, the Palm Beach County Board of County Commissioners budget meeting, and the Palm Beach County School District budget meeting. So,
We can't meet on the same days that they do.
that is correct.
It's by law, correct.
The other ones are courtesy, but the school district and county commission is
Right,
statutory.
correct.
So you have two options. One is to accept the proposed budget as we presented, or the other one is to give us some other dates and time. Now, Mondays are hot, because Mondays are always, those are the free times.
Yes. The one thing that we should note is that we would be moving the regular commission meeting from September 19th to September 26th in order to accommodate because of this scheduling. But I think hopefully that's doable, so.
I'd like to motion that we approve the budget schedule as presented
Thank you.
and reschedule our commission meeting.
Correct.
I second the motion.
Okay, any other discussion? All in
No,
favor?
all those dates are good for me.
Very good. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Commission workshop considerations, Mr. Hume.
Yes, ma'am. This is thrown at you at the end here because Yvonne and I have spoken. In our experience, the towns and cities we've worked for had a set workshop schedule. This is done because I don't know if you've ever tried to schedule 5 people for an evening meeting that doesn't interfere with other meetings and other things going on. So if we had something consistent, we could set our calendar to that. And as far as workshops go, I'm talking about a variety of topics that would actually cut down on the length of the meetings themselves. No decisions would be made at these meetings other than recommendation to staff. So, and then one question you're gonna ask is, what if we don't have anything scheduled? Well, we just won't schedule it, but it would be a placeholder.
We have a number of things coming up that are going to require some discussion. The contract for the Parkway, the fire EMS negotiations with the DOH or the COPCN, that whole discussion. We want to have discussions about the community center policies. There's a number of different things that we want to talk about. Stormwater, we still want to come back, circle back around on that and have more discussion. So I think having a regular hour before our commission meeting, if we can do it, to get through some of these things so we can get them moving would be a useful thing for us to do.
I like the idea. I motion that we do accept having a commission workshop prior to the commission meeting on.
Second. Can you make it with your work schedule?
I can, I just don't want to see us doing this every month if it's not necessary. We can have discussions, but I don't want to create a workshop to create a workshop.
We wouldn't look for things to be, like, hey, we have nothing to do, let's find
create
something to talk
something.
about, mangoes on the trees or something.
Right.
No, these would be necessary, and if there was nothing scheduled or the subject's not ready yet, we would not schedule it.
Right. Fair enough.
Yeah, thank you for asking.
Okay. We have a motion on the floor. All in favor say aye. Aye. And the motion passes unanimously. And I believe that's the end of our agenda. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
So moved. Very good. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, audience.
Bye.
Bye, Pat. Thank you.